Hello, my name is Jawad Ahmed Fareed. Today we're going to talk about this brand new book on financial modeling for founders and startups. So, what is the book about? A common challenge that founders face is figuring out their business models. If you start out by saying you're going to feed yourself by selling advertising on a site dedicated to growing lemons in your home garden, perhaps it would be useful to model traffic trends in Excel before building the site or investing in a home gardening lemon growing kit. Do the math. Sometimes the math is in alignment with your expectations, sometimes it isn't. But it's cheaper and faster. It's also good for your sanity if you do this math before taking a leap of faith into a business that has no hope of making things work. While there are a number of great tools available for figuring out visual modeling, when it comes to building a business, a deeper dive is required. Solving a problem is very different from building a business. Building a business has many moving parts, and each moving part comes with a set of assumptions that need to be tested and validated. Steve Blank describes a startup as an organization in search of a solution to a problem. Steve and many others say, go out in the real world, validate these assumptions. But once you validated these assumptions, then what? How do you put them together? How do you mix them? How do you craft a recipe that works? How do you figure out the infinite variation and choices and combinations between the moving parts? Enter Excel and financial modeling. This is a book about financial modeling for founders. Okay. All books have a thesis. This book does too. What is the core thesis of founder puzzles? A. As founders, rather than building more complex Excel models, we need to focus on building better businesses using simple Excel models. B. We need to build models for founders, not investors. And investors are not going to be unhappy about this. They'll actually be grateful that you've done that. C. It's easier, faster, and cheaper to test things out in Excel than in the real world. And while we may have different location pins, we face the same challenges with very similar solutions. So 4 key points. Now these are all simple statements, but they all require a mind shift. And that mind shift is, the objective is not to spend days building a model. The objective is to have specific questions, build models, simple models, to the point models that answer those questions very, very quickly. Do the math, but keep it simple, relevant, realistic, and to the point. So what are the frameworks that the book presents? Evaluate ideas using well-established frameworks in Excel, such as unit economics. Can we apply unit economics as a filter to select between ideas that we're working on? If I have 3, how do you know which one is the best? Is there a simple equation or a test that we can use as a filter? What are the 3 or 4 pricing models that are available? Which one's most suitable to your needs and requirements? How about valuation models? What do investors look for in an investor proposal? Modeling revenues, estimating market sizes, choosing between monthly or annual projections. What are some of the rules you should remember? What are some of the common mistakes we all make? The objective is to help you build a model that you can use to build a better business. One that helps you answer everyday questions you face as a founder with the investment of a few minutes. A simple example may help make the point. One of the first cases Founder Puzzles looks at is that of a business that sells a product online. Their core revenue driver is traffic. They're evaluating a choice to generate more traffic and grow. 4 choices. They have 4 choices. Invest in faster servers. Invest in long-form content for more traffic. Invest in SEO, improve conversion rates on the landing page. 4 simple choices, 4 simple models. If they have the money to spend, they should do all 4. But what if they don't, and they can only afford to do one? Which one should it be? How do you go about answering this question? This is a question that does not require you to get an MBA or a PhD in finance. It just requires you to build a simple model. But before you build that model, you need to understand what are the primary drivers of your revenue, and how do the 4 choices, how do the 4 options impact them. Now you could build a simple model in 10 minutes and answer it, but before you build it, you must understand, what data do you need? Where does it come from? What do those drivers look like? How do you put them together? How do you model them? Enter Founder Puzzles. Founder Puzzles is a book that came out of 5 years of running the financial modeling bootcamp at the Nest IO Technology Incubator in Karachi. 200 teams across 11 cohorts from 2015 to the summer of 2020. During the bootcamp, we struggled not with theoretical frameworks, but actual challenges at work that founders at the bootcamp faced. Several chapters and life cases in the book are inspired by these conversations. Real world problems shared by real world founders, solved by real world models. Who should read this book? Founders, obviously, written by a founder for other founders. Founders in the making or founders on the side who have had idea on slow burn for a while and need to decide if the time is right to take the leap. Before you commit capital and a few years of your life, run a few variations in Excel to see if your idea is worthy. Founders in the real world struggling with profitability challenges. If you're wondering why things are not working out, try some of the suggestions and frameworks applicable to your space. Perhaps you're making the same mistakes we made. Remember, it's cheaper to model things out in Excel than burn capital in the real world. Founders in the process of raising a round. Spend time understanding investor mindsets and valuation landmines. Not cap tables and pre and post money terminology. But what is driving the discussion behind the term sheets? What are people saying about this book? Khurram Zafar at 47 Ventures says, you can either do an MBA, run 2 startups, have a dozen leaders as mentors, or you can pick this book and read it cover to cover. It's a book full of life hacks for entrepreneurs. I've been a serial founder for 20 years. Before the 20 years, I spent 8 years with technology consulting in product development, technology outsourcing, and enterprise consulting. 5 ventures under the belt, went to the market to raise funding 7 times, made it work 5 out of the 7 times. Total lifetime raise about $2.8 million. Doesn't sound like a lot in Valley terms, but it's respectable when we consider that 4 out of the 5 rounds were raised in Karachi, and the last one was raised in 2015. But I'm also a teacher. I've taught entrepreneurship as a professor of practice and a practitioner for 17 years. Founder Puzzles is my 5th book. Written 4 before this one. 2 on enterprise risk and option Greeks with Macmillan, 1 on failing and rebooting again as a founder, the source of inspiration for my Twitter handle, which is Reboot Dude, and the last one on portfolio optimization models in Excel. Over the last 20 years, I've mentored teams from Pakistan, India, UAE, Bahrain, Thailand, Singapore, Vietnam, Nepal, Bangladesh, Burma, Bhutan, East Africa, US, and the UK. While our geographies, our location pins, and postal addresses were different, many of the challenges we faced as founders and their solutions are the same. Thank you very much. This is all we had time for. This is Jawad Ahmed Fareed signing off for Founders Puzzles.